The allegations made by WNBA players that Indiana Fever fans are vicious, racist. Now, all three of these entities have responded to the allegation. They're just launching racial slurs all over the place.
Once again, we're seeing with these players who are coming out and speaking out against Caitlin Clark fans, Fever fans. I've covered it multiple times on this show. Angel Reese has said things. The co-owner of the Atlanta Dream has said things. Cheryl Swoops have said things. Dejanay Carrington have said things. A lot of people have called out Caitlin Clark fans and Fever fans and said that they are nasty.
Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell have finally cleared the air about the false accusations surrounding Indiana Fever fans. Some WNBA players, particularly black athletes, were reportedly so consumed by jealousy and animosity toward Caitlin that things escalated from verbal jabs to physical altercations. When the situation intensified and the media began asking tough questions, instead of taking responsibility, these players chose to accuse Indiana fans of being racist. Shockingly, the WNBA supported these claims, despite the lack of evidence. However, Caitlin and Mitchell weren't willing to stay silent. They spoke up, exposing these accusations for what they truly are, completely unfounded. Buckle up, because this is a story you won't want to miss.
Oh, Alyssa Thomas came out and said that the Fever fan base was racist.
I mean, we can't control what someone else says. Like, for the more
I think that for us, we err on the side of professionalism in a lot of different ways, and we can only control what's in our organization, within our people. And that, I mean, me personally, we don't condone those kind of things. No matter what color you are or whatever you carry or possess. I think for us, we focus on the basketball part.
Let's start with Kelsey Mitchell, who didn't hesitate for a second. No sugarcoating or beating around the bush. She came out with a bold and straightforward statement. Her message was clear. We're against racism, but let's be real. We can only control what happens within our team. She drew a firm line, making it obvious that the team is focused on their own game, not the drama outside. In short, she delivered a powerful message without saying too much. It's the kind of energy that says, we're not here for gossip. We're here to win.
Yeah, it's definitely upsetting. I don't think nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. Those aren't fans, those are trolls, and it's a real disservice to...
Then there's Caitlin Clark, who had her own approach to handling the situation. She stepped up to the mic and made it clear. There's no place for racism, but let's focus on the positive. Instead of getting caught up in the controversy, she redirected the conversation to basketball and the great things happening in the WNBA. Caitlin didn't downplay the seriousness of racism. She addressed it by saying that those making hateful comments aren't her real fans. They're just online trolls. She made it clear that her supporters are not racists, shifting the focus back to the game and away from the drama.
I respect her comment and what she has to say, but I don't think it has anything to do with us,
Yeah, and also to piggyback on that, we don't condone any of those things.
At all.
Together, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell completely took charge of the narrative, almost like they were rewriting the script in the middle of all the drama. Instead of getting dragged into the chaos, they made the choice to shut it down. They refused to let the scandal dominate the conversation, staying calm and focused on what really matters. What's impressive is how their professional and composed response actually quieted much of the noise. You'd expect things to get messy without a fiery clapback, but instead, the media storm just seemed to die down. It's hard to keep a fight going when the other side isn't even swinging back.
She is about the most media-savvy sports entity I have seen in a very long time.
Then there's Caitlin, stepping in like a seasoned diplomat. Instead of adding fuel to the fire, she expertly redirects the conversation. Rather than getting tangled in negativity, she focuses on the positive aspects of the game. Her approach is smooth, intelligent, and a real power move. She's guiding the discussion back to what truly matters: basketball, the fans, and the game itself. It's almost as if she's waving a little flag, reminding everyone not to forget the reason we're here. This subtle shift has a massive impact.
Don't care about it, because what's important is this organization and us winning games, and that's what we did. So But for the most part, we don't condone that. I don't care about it because it's like...
The brilliance of both their responses lies in their simplicity. They didn't make long speeches or dramatic gestures. Instead, they showcased calm, cool professionalism. Without raising their voices, they communicated that this scandal won't define them. This unshakable attitude sets them apart. They've taken all the controversy, neatly wrapped it up, and tossed it where it belongs, in the trash. That's why they command so much respect. They turned a messy situation into a moment of leadership, demonstrating how to rise above the nonsense while keeping their focus on what truly matters.
I don't understand why these women are complaining about people trolling on the internet. And they're spitting in the face of all the fans who kiss the very ground they walk on. And some people who begrudgingly watch the WNBA because they just want to see y'all do better. Why? Why would you care about somebody saying something to you on the internet that don't know you, and you got hundreds of thousands and millions of people watching y'all on TV?
In a world where drama often takes the spotlight away from the game, Caitlin and Kelsey stay composed, focused, and unaffected. They're not just resilient, they're unstoppable. It was crucial for them to clarify their position, especially since the jealousy-fueled drama had been building for a while. The most recent episode involved Alyssa Thomas, who made serious accusations following a playoff game in September 2020 between the Connecticut Sun and Indiana Fever. She claimed that Fever fans were, and I quote, vicious racists.
Honestly, it's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base.
She alleged that fans were throwing racial slurs at her and other Sun players, as if it were part of the game plan. However, here's the kicker. The arena was packed with fans, all equipped with smartphones, yet there wasn't a single piece of video evidence. No clips, not even a grainy TikTok. In today's world, how can such a significant accusation go uncaptured on camera? It just doesn't add up.
People happen to have cell phones with audio devices that can record.
This isn't the first time we've seen this kind of situation. Angel Reese, fresh out of college and making waves in the WNBA, has also made similar accusations, claiming fans have acted inappropriately with their racist behavior. But it's always the same story. Big claims with zero evidence. Understandably, fans are beginning to feel defensive. How can anyone determine who's telling the truth when there's no solid proof? It's a vicious cycle of he said, she said, with no real solutions in sight. The league finds itself in a tricky position, trying to manage it all without tipping the scales too far.
It's not actually recorded or anything anywhere.
If you thought the WNBA would step in with some smart solutions to address this issue, you'd be mistaken. Instead, the league has jumped in wholeheartedly to support their players, to the point where they've been accused of throwing their own fans under the bus. It's as if they're saying, "Oh, you bought season tickets? Great. But we might label you a racist based on a few unfounded accusations." That's not exactly a fair way to treat your most loyal supporters, is it?
Obviously, it's always important to give credit where it's due. And I think we all realize where the credit needs to be given as far as the success of this WNBA season. Caitlin Clark came in and made such an impact on how many people started to care about the WNBA. This was the highest viewed season in the history of the league. In 28 years, the numbers were stellar. Caitlin Clark drew a whole new fan base into it.
Let's not overlook Caitlin Clark in all this chaos. She's the face of the league, leading the Fever to their first playoff appearance in 8 years and breaking attendance records, drawing in fans to watch WNBA games. Despite her accomplishments, the league seems more concerned with not upsetting Black players than standing up for someone like Clark, who is genuinely delivering results. When Alyssa Thomas made her accusations, the WNBA quickly jumped on the racism is bad bandwagon. But did they step up to defend Clark and her fans from getting dragged into this mess? Nope.
Don't hold the Indiana Fever responsible for people whose tweets you don't even know who the author is. It could have been somebody from Connecticut pretending to be an Indiana Fever fan, or someone from Connecticut who doesn't like you because you're a whiny victim 24/7.
The snubs just keep piling up. Caitlin Clark has practically carried the Fever to the playoffs, yet where are the magazine covers and major media features? They seem to be nowhere in sight. It's almost as if the league is hesitant to give her too much recognition, fearing backlash over favoritism toward white players. However, in trying to navigate this tightrope, they risk snapping under pressure if they're not careful.
But then she makes the playoffs, lead the Fever to their first playoff game in 8 seasons, and she's not even on the promotional material for that team. So the biggest cash cow in the WNBA can't even make the WNBA's graphic to promote the team making the playoffs.
Brennan's situation isn't just an isolated incident. It's part of a larger, more unsettling trend. Now, any form of criticism, especially if it involves black players or the WNBA's decisions, is often equated with racism. We've reached a point where simply disagreeing or offering constructive feedback feels like you've insulted someone's entire family. This shift goes beyond her. It raises significant questions about the future of sports journalism and how leagues like the WNBA will engage with the media moving forward. Are they creating an environment where only praise is welcome and any critical thought gets you labeled as a villain?
They put out a statement calling for her to be punished for asking a legitimate question of Honey DeJournay Carrington, the woman who intentionally poked Caitlin Clark in the eye. And the WNBA is now hostile towards Christine Brennan and calling for punishment or removal from her job.
So, where does that leave us? If the WNBA continues down this path, it could cause more harm than good. They risk losing the trust of both fans and the media, who may start to view the league as an untouchable zone where criticism is not allowed. That's not what any sport needs, especially one like the WNBA that is still striving to grow and gain the attention it deserves. Brennan's case is just the latest example of how things can spiral out of control when criticism is confused with discrimination. At the end of the day, no one is saying the league shouldn't address racism. Clearly, that's crucial. However, without solid proof, these accusations could do more harm than good, particularly when they alienate the very fans who keep the sport alive. If the WNBA doesn't learn to manage this situation better, they risk losing not just their fan base, but also their credibility.